this is as an organization, we are always constantly challenged with change, and a lot of the changes that we have to experience are brought to us by sheer force, like the requirement of the marketplace to make us take action. That is something that happens all the time, and people adapt and will work their best to overcome whatever's put in front of them if they're required to do it. But I want to talk to you primarily about the things that are not required today, because unrequired things are the things that truly embody what we would call our core values. Because personal development isn't about the development of your skill sets at work. It's about the quality of your life everywhere. It is about high achieving in all areas of life. And I think that there is a constant frustration by most people, and I think that includes myself, I think it includes the majority of our team, that where they currently are is not in alignment with where they believe they need to be. And what I mean by that is maybe sometimes you get up in the morning, or maybe you show up here to work, or maybe sometimes you go home, or maybe sometimes you're with your family and you're just like, man, I wish this was better. Anybody feel like that? Say aye in the chat, right? For real, like I'm asking for real. Anybody ever feel like sometimes I wish things were better. I wish I had more money. I wish I had more time. I wish I had more, quality of relationships. I wish things were just better. And that typically leads to what I call frustration, right? Frustration is the nature of us feeling like we're not where we need to be, right? Disalignment, or frustration is where things aren't where they need to be in your life. And it doesn't really matter if maybe you get one area of your life situated. Like, say for an example, you said, David, if I just had more money and somebody just gave you a bunch of money, you would still have frustrations. It would just be in different areas. So it just depends on where you are in life and what your focus is that would really determine this. Now, why do we have frustrations? Well, a lot of that has to do with our ability to see what needs to be done. You see, I believe that the most successful people in the world, and here's the key, are very, very self-aware. Let me say that again, are very self-aware. They are willing to look introspectively. They look at themselves from the outside in and say, this is what's wrong with me, right? And those who have that belief and can do this are the ones who get the most success, because that frustration that they experience makes and causes change. See, most people are frustrated. Everybody here said, I'm frustrated about this, I'm frustrated about this. But guess what? It's not frustrated enough, because if it was, you would change. Let me say it again. If it was, you would change. See, the reason that you don't change is because the frustration isn't big enough. The frustration hasn't hit you hard enough. The only time that we are motivated to take action is when the pain becomes so great that we have to do something about it. It's the toothache, right? Everybody knows we should go to the dentist every quarter or every 6 months, or whatever the dentist says, to clean their teeth and check their teeth and make sure their teeth are good. But rarely does anyone go until when? There's a pain. Right? The pain is when we make a decision. And rarely do we allow ourselves to have the pain. So how do we get the pain so intense that change will occur in your life? How do we become so intensely focused about the pain that something has to change? Well, there are several ways that I want to cover with you here today that I'm hoping that if you get this will cause the change that is proactive in your life, that instead of becoming a reactive person to the pain of the toothache, that you start thinking about, how do I get my teeth cleaned and checked quarterly? Okay? Because the goal of life is progress. It isn't stagnation. It isn't to stay still. It isn't to be in the same place. And when you stay in the same place for too long, you get frustrated. But some people will accept that. Okay, so let's talk about how we can change. So, most people don't know what it would feel like, so they don't know what they're missing. And that's why it's not painful. It's not painful because you don't know what you're missing. Now, how do you get to the missing? How do you see what you're missing? Well, you find people who are doing, having, experiencing what you want. And you study them. That's how you find it. You get around people. See, the beautiful part, especially about our company, is that we experience the ability to do this every day. Like every day you are talking to individuals who may be on a different path than you, may be farther along in the journey in a specific area of their lives, and you're just, well, that's for them, not for me. And so you don't get the pain, you don't get the frustration, because you're like, they're a different path. They went this way. They came from a different way, right? We all started the same. We all were born naked, afraid, dumb. We all started crawling before we started walking. We all started walking before we started running. Like, we all started the same, but some of you seem to believe that some people have some different story or some different path. And because of that, you can't see how successful they are. You're like, that's for them, not for me. That is the cause of your not being frustrated. That is the cause of saying the pain is not great enough. The greater pain comes from seeing what somebody else is capable of, saying, oh crap, I need that too. The exposure to bigger and better thinking is what you need in order for you to change. You don't know how great you could be at your job right now if you didn't see somebody else doing it. You wouldn't know how far you could go until you saw somebody go that far. The problem is everybody chooses not to see that far. Everybody chooses to say, that's for them, not for me. Everybody chooses to say, hey, that's not the way it's been for me. But everybody started the same, but nobody wants to admit it. Right? What's the statement? Every one of us is self-made. It's only the successful that admit it. It's only the successful. Because they're the ones who are like, yeah, I'm self-made. Poor people don't say that. Poor people don't say I'm self-made. They say it's someone else's fault. It's a blame game. You guys get it? So the frustration has to be so big by getting exposure, by introducing yourself to new ideas and concepts. And to be truthful, here's the catch. Here's the end all, is to change our identity. The identity that we have is who we believe we are. See, I aspire every day to be better than I am or I was yesterday. That is my belief, to be better. Somehow, some way. And what I do is I try to correlate where I want to go with something else. See, most people compare here. Most people compare here or here. What I mean by that is they're like, well, I'm doing better than my cousin. Like, dumb bitch, you know? She married wrong, right? Fucking bitch married wrong. Right? That's what y'all are saying right now. Y'all are comparing to the wrong people. You're like, oh, I'm doing better than that guy from high school. I'm doing better than that person. You know, like, I got it together. I got a good job. I'm working for a good company. I got a good relationship. And you talk all that bullshit saying, oh, well, you know, even though they make more money, they're not happy. Like, screw all that bullshit. Some of y'all say that shit every day. Everybody does, right? Because you're comparing here or here. You're like, well, I just want to compare myself to the person I'm doing better than. Because if I'm doing better than them, yeah, that's good. Right? Or if I'm on the same level, hey, they went to school and I didn't. Look what I'm doing now. Like, stop comparing down or to the side and start comparing up. See, I don't care who tells you this and says, hey, David, you're not supposed to compare. Like, do you, be you. Bullshit. Everybody compares. Everybody compares. Like, where am I versus them? What am I having? What are they having? I mean, even when you go to a restaurant and you sit down, as soon as somebody walks by with a tray of food, you're like, ooh, what are they having? Ooh, what are they having? Right? You're comparing. Did I order the right or the wrong thing? You're comparing. That's what we're doing. Every time me and my wife sit down at a dinner and then somebody brings out a really cool steaming plate and it's on fire and shit, I'm like, why didn't we order that? We messed up. Compare up, not down. The problem is the frustration is not deep enough. It's not strong enough to make change in your life. You'll never know how far you can go. You'll never know how good you can be. You'll never be pushed to your limits because you continue to compare against other people who are shit. And I mean that. Because if you wanted to be successful and you wanted to have more and you wanted to be more, you'd be looking at the people who have what you want and say, I want to know what they're doing and I want to know how to get there. And stop making excuses and let the pain be really fucking hard. I do this to myself every day. I compare myself against what I want to be. Because my identity isn't necessarily who I am today. It's who I want to be. That's an identity. It's not who I am. It's who I want to be. Let me say that again. It's who I want to be. And the only way that I can change this identity is by looking at those who have what I want or where I want to go and saying, what did they have to become? Who did they have to become in order for them to get there? Because the person that they were 10 years ago is not the same person they are today, and it won't be the same person in 10 years. Some people will be the same person all of their lives. It is all about the identity. And your identity is very, very equal to your beliefs in who you are, right? That's who you are. See, I'm not good at math. That's an identity. I'm not good at cardio. That's an identity. I can't stop eating bad food. That's an identity. Right? I'm not that smart. That's an identity. These are identities you've given yourself. You've labeled yourself something. Now, I want you to know that it doesn't matter if you think you're not good at math, because everybody has to know math. If you weren't good at math, I could trade you a $100 bill for my $1 bill. And you would say, oh, okay, that seems like a good deal because you don't know math. But apparently you know enough to not do that. You apparently know that 5 20s are $100. And you would trade 5 20s for a $100 bill. Right? Everybody with me on that? Everybody would do that. So it's to the degree at which you are good at math is really the question. It's not that you're not good at math, it's to what degree. It's not because you can't do something, it's how much do you want to do something. It's who you want to become, not who you are today. And the pursuit of that is the progress. My thought every day is I see so many people on our team who have an identity challenge, who believe that they want to be someone else, but they ain't doing anything about it. I see it every day. I see it every day in their work ethic, in their commitments to their lives, to their families, to their relationships, to their income. They're like, I want to be wealthy, but they don't practice any habits of wealth. And if they said, well, David, it's just because I don't make enough money, I'm like, what skills are you getting to get to that point? Because the person who makes this much money has a specific skill. And if you don't know what skill that is, why don't you ask? You're right? Why don't you ask what skill needs to be gotten? That's all you have to do, is what skills do I need to have to be able to make this type of money? What skills do I have to know or have in order for me to lose the weight? What skills do I need to know or have to get to the next level? That's all you have to ask. You don't have to ask me. You ask the marketplace, ask the world, look at what's going on around you, and then you say, this is who I want to be, because your identity is wrong. I know it every day. Like everything about you is who you believe you are. If you're goofy, if you're funny, if you're silly, if you're fat or you're skinny, all that is identity. You've already bought into it. You know, when I hear people say that I'm just overweight, well, that's an identity. It has nothing to do with it. There's somebody more overweight than you, just to be clear. So you're not that overweight. There's somebody taller than you, there's somebody shorter than you, there's somebody who has more money than you, or somebody who has less money than you. You've bought in that this is who you're supposed to be. Somebody sold that to you, you bought it, and you said, that's it. And you've made it a point to never experience enough pain to make a change. That's all I see. Now, the reason I'm having this conversation here today with you is because I want you to think bigger than what you are today. I want you to see farther than you can see. And I want you to take a change and make some commitments to yourself to be an identity-conscious person. See, I am detail-oriented. I am committed to winning. See how these are identity statements. These are identity statements. I am committed to winning. You see how that is? You see how I said it? I'm committed to winning. I'm committed to the details. If you say the commitment and then you become the commitment. So many people just say things. They come to work and they're just like, oh, look at that little cute culture card there. That's not who you are. If it was you, you'd be doing it. If you believed in it, you would do it. You don't believe in it. You've just made it a point to say it. You have not made it a point to do it. The difference between those who have and those who don't are the people who do. The doers. What is that? Be, do, think, whatever bullshit. Just put do. Just do some shit. Become a better version of yourself. Identify. Look up, not down, not to the sides. Feel like you can do something. Identify as somebody who's good at math. Identify as somebody who's good at making PowerPoints. Identify as somebody who's good at sales. Identify as somebody who's good at customer service. Identify as somebody who is good at events. Identify as somebody who's good at putting the cameras together. Identify as somebody who's good at helping people with their health. Identify as somebody who can bring numbers to the table. Identify as somebody who has something of value to give to the world. And stop thinking that you don't. And then in what degree you can do it. If you could give the degree from 1 to 10, it should always be a 10. That's how you become who you want to be. That's how you become the better version of yourself. That's how you make more money. That's how you get in shape. That's how you become the best version of what the world brought you here to do. But so many people fucking settle. Right? The pain must be great. That's why I challenge you every day. That's why I'll be honest with you guys. I'm a dick, right? I am most days. I'm pissed off. I'm frustrated because I have high standards. My identity for you is higher than the identity you got for yourself. That's why I'm mad all the freaking time. Because I'm like, why am I accepting this bullshit from someone who I believe is here, but they're acting like they're here? Like, that's why I'm always frustrated. If you guys think I'm an asshole, some days I am. But it's because I have higher standards from you than you have of you. Isn't that incredible? Why should somebody think more of you than you should think of you? Why should I have to come here and tell you how great you are? Why can't you look in the mirror and say that? You know why? Because you lack the identity and the confidence to do it. Because you're comparing here and not here. Because you haven't made a decision to make a change in your life. Because change is too hard. Because change is too painful. Because showing up is just enough, right? If you have not gotten what you want in life, it is truly your fault. You're self-made. If you're not where you want to be, it's because you're self-made. Everyone needs to take a very deep look at what's wrong with them every day. And I mean that. Like, even if you don't know what's wrong with you, why don't you ask your spouse? Why don't you ask a team member? Why don't you ask your pastor? I don't know. He probably wouldn't say nothing's wrong with you. You're perfect. He's lying. He don't know you well enough. Somebody who's going to tell you the freaking truth, man. If you want to know the truth, come to me. I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth. I ain't afraid of hurting your feelings because you shouldn't get your feelings hurt. People should tell you the truth. Everyone should. You should tell me the truth, right? I know what I am, though. It's kind of funny. You don't have to tell David who he is and what he is. Because I know. I will admit it before you even say it. I will. You know why? Because I am very, very introspective. I'm very self-conscious. I'm always thinking about what's wrong with me. And I'm always thinking about what do I need to do next? What skills do I need to develop? What steps do I need to take? Because the pain of staying the same is so hard for me. The pain of staying the same is so hard on me. I don't want to be the same. I don't want to get the same results. I know, I'm going to end today with this. I know this is what frustrates me more, and maybe it frustrates you, and if it does, you should do something about it. I compare up a lot, okay? I do all the time. And it's for people I don't even know. I compare myself against people I don't even know, guys. I don't even know. I wouldn't even know if they have their shit together. They could just be somebody who wrote a good book or has a really good social media team. I don't know, okay? I don't know that. It would really hurt me to find out how good they're not, right? If they're not good. It would really hurt me because I've been comparing myself against somebody and I'm like, fuck, they really suck. But let me do that for now. But here's where I'm getting at. I want every day to think about who I need to become. Every day, okay? That's just me. Every day I need to become this person. And I ask myself this question. What would the 10-year down the road David say to the David today? What skills would he have told David to develop? What disciplines, what habits, what changes would he have told David to make? Because as I compare, I'm like, that guy over there is doing something I got to get to, but what would David have said? Because if you believe you're that smart, which I believe all of you are, you would know what to do. This is a journey for me, man. Like, I'm on a mission here. I'm doing this. With or without anyone. I'm going somewhere. And I mean that just because I have to go. I've been put here to do big things, and I ain't gonna let God down. Okay? I mean that. I'm not stopping. And yes, I'm not perfect. Yes, I will be the first to admit it. Yes, I won't do it the right way. Yes, I'll make mistakes. Yes, I will do things that will not align with everyone. Yes, I'll make decisions that will piss people off, and yes, I will do whatever it takes. But here's what I will tell you. I won't stop trying to get better. Okay? Just because I made a mistake, a loss is a lesson. A mistake or a failure is just a step in the road. It creates the opportunity for me to learn. That's why we can do what we do today, by the way. Everything we offer to our clients, every company, if you really get this deep, is because we have had experiences that caused us to be experts in those things. We don't make up anything. We're not imposters. We are actually living what we're supposed to be doing. So I challenge you to make a change, because the change is what you need in your life. A change is what we need in our lives. A change is what's going to make this company go to the billion. A change is going to make you look better, feel better, act better, do better, so you can do good to be good. Right? I appreciate you guys and everything that you do. You guys are amazing, and I'm very thankful for you. But I always say you can get better. So get better. All right? I appreciate everyone. Thank you so much for letting me come in here and rain? Hey, that's a good word. I came in the rain. You see rain? I use the rain here. That's why she's got to do.
I knew you were going to mention.
All right.